Good morning. It is about a week and a half before my garden party, and I thought, hey, if I'm putting together a garden party, like a pop-up art show, maybe some of you would want to put up an art show, and perhaps you might want some tips. So that's what this video is all about. So come on along. Welcome back. I am so excited about an art pop-up studio tour. And if you're an artist or if you sell anything that you create, you probably would be excited too. And so I thought I would put together a video, and it's going to be all sorts of snippets. So just be prepared, because I want to take some video shots everywhere I go to prepare for this party. So I've got my handwritten list. Yes, I still use a handwritten list. I've got notes on my phone, my calendar all prepared for when to do what. So for me, I'm doing a studio tour in my garden, and my garden is actually part of the tour. So I am an avid gardener. I'll show you around, and I've shown you the garden in videos past in this channel of Living Artfully. So people are coming to see the garden, but they're also coming to see my artwork and any of the guests that I have coming to the show. So Zoe, my assistant, she's going to be putting up these points, and you can follow along, and if anything resonates, or if I missed anything, make sure you tell me. So I've got my notes here. So number one, you've got to plan your date. So pick a date, pick a Saturday, a Sunday, whatever day works for you, and plan your event. Plan your time, when you're going to be open. One of the elements you'll have to take into consideration is the elements. Is it going to rain? If so, do you need a tent? Do you need cover? I'll show you a little bit of a video of my space here. In a little bit, I'll walk you around and show you where I'm planning to do the show. And I do have some cover, and I have, of course, my studio. One year it did rain, so all the art that was planned to be out in the garden just ended up in the studio, and it was fine. People understood it, and they came inside the studio, and we had to flip a little bit through paintings, but it was absolutely fine. So make sure you know if you're going to be in the sun. Umbrella's still a good idea if you're going to be in the sun too much, or if it's going to be inside. If your pop-up show's in the winter, obviously it's going to be inside. Check your local events for your city, because there's something called Super Crawl in Hamilton. Hamilton has an amazing arts event, and it's usually the second week of September. Last year I made the mistake, or years past I've made the mistake of holding my garden party the same weekend. Now it's a whole different crowd, and I don't think it's too much, but I didn't want to coincide with something that's major. So that's a good idea to check too. And actually, if you can put your studio tour on your Eventbrite for your local area, and if you can put your studio event, or maybe even coordinate your studio tour with another artist or two, how fun would that be? Okay, number two, if it's going to be a solo show, you need to determine that. If you're going to have guests, you need to figure out who those guests are, and ask them, invite them, give them enough time to prepare. Number three, from your guests, ask them for their logo, maybe a photo of them, so that you can use that for social media. You need to make a graphic, use Canva, something like that, or hire somebody to make that graphic for you. And anytime you post anything on Instagram, Facebook, make sure you're collaborating so that they can share it. Take advantage of the free aspect of Instagram and Facebook. But it is a great opportunity to boost any of those posts that you do on Facebook and Instagram. It's inexpensive. Here's my tip for boosting posts. Imagine you were going to set up at an art show in a park and they're charging you for your space. And that could be $200 or $300 for that space. And they take that because they're organizers and they're organizing and they're advertising on your behalf. If you can think of your own backyard or your own studio tour as that big of an event and budget an amount to boost on social media, how great is that? Because it's going to put it in the feed of people that don't normally see it, boost it for sure to your own followers, and it's going to be a great opportunity. So that is a huge tip. I always say, make sure you get a budget for your advertising. Really plan your posts. Be diligent. If they don't want to see it, they'll swipe by. But if you post, and interact with the people that make comments, you will find a better likelihood that more people will see your posts. I would not advise starting to post months ahead. You could do a save the date and pin it, but I wouldn't really focus on too much before 2 or 3 weeks before the event. So I have a sign that I have put on my fence, and I'll show it to you. So I put it up about 2 to 3 weeks. I live on the lake. There's a walkway that people walk by. It's a great opportunity. I've seen lots of people photograph the sign. So if you can put up a sign somewhere on your property, that's a great idea. And I tied one to the front of my tree. The next thing I would do is run a small contest. So if you run a contest and say, subscribe to my email to win this piece. This piece is the winner is going to be decided at my studio tour. We're going to call it studio tour from now on. At my studio tour. Sign up for my email. Anybody who's on my email list is going to get this opportunity to win this piece. It can be a small piece. It could be whatever you make. If you make jewelry, it could be whatever. But email is key. People don't always see the Instagram post, but they do see your emails if they open it and they read it. So provide them good content. Don't spam them. They will open it and read it, and they'll know. And then the thing with email, unless they unsubscribe, it's a really great form of communication. Emails aren't going away. Instagram might go away. Facebook might go away. You know, like the platforms change, but building your email list, biggest, most important thing to do. If you are starting small, get emails. And on that note, get emails at your event. Have a sign up. Even continue the contest with sign-ups right there. If they haven't signed up online, take their email right there, tell them you're going to sign them up, and they'll be eligible to win the piece. I am doing a new release of new originals. So they're not even going to be on my website until the day of my studio tour, or even the Monday after. They're only going to be at my studio tour. But 3 days earlier, on September 3rd, I'm going to do a release of them via email. So it's going to be a secret page on my website that can only be accessed with a password. And it will be released on September 3rd only to my newsletter list. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm doing a little bit of posting. I'm showing some of the paintings, or I'm showing a progress painting, or showing a little, and saying, if you want access to the full list of paintings, you're going to have to sign up for my newsletter. So that's another thing. So kind of get them on that list so that you can give them. You have to give them something to sign them up. And I also do, when they sign up, they get a 10% off coupon on my prints. So that's a great plan to do. And tell everybody you know. So now the work begins and you have to get ready. I'm going to be talking as a painter. So translate this into whatever your craft or art is. You have to determine what is it that you're going to sell. So you have to plan. So for me, I have several larger paintings. I have medium-sized paintings, and I'll have some small paintings, and I have some really little tiny paintings. And I'll show you some of them as we're chatting. They're so cute, and the price point is right. People can pick them up and they can walk away. Because a lot of times people are coming to see where I live, what the garden is like. They like to see the work. Might be the first time they've ever heard of me because they've walked by my back door and they want to come in. Don't be surprised. People will spend a lot of money, and sometimes they plan on spending money when they're coming. They are coming to a studio tour with a budget in mind. And it happens, and you will be pleasantly surprised that it happens. And people will invest, and they will use the event as an opportunity to buy the piece. And they will always remember that they bought the piece at my studio tour. They got to meet me, they got to see my garden and where I painted it. So people will come prepared. So I have large paintings ready for them to go. But I also have, because I have a print line, and I also will have a fair amount of prints that are embellished and that I've curated in from either me making the selections, or these are prints that have been accidentally printed and then I embellish them and I have them ready and I discount them at the sale. So I do not discount originals, but I will discount the prints. So, and I usually discount them for pickup a little deeper than I would if they were being purchased online, where I have to pay for shipping. Shipping is included in the price, but it does cost me. So I might translate that into at the show, where it's a little deeper discount if you're actually at the show. Okay, so here I am, I'm planning. What am I going to have? But I also have notebooks, I have greeting cards, and I have pillows. So I have a wonderful friend. Her name is Liz, and she loves to come and she loves to work with me on getting ready for the show. She's coming on a day before the show, and she is helping me price things. We're putting price tags on everything. She's making sure that I've thought of everything. She's already reminded me that I need to pick up bags and things like that. And she's going to be taking the money that day. So that is something you need to be prepared for as well. How are people going to pay? I personally use Square, but people can also purchase things directly through my website. So all of the pieces will be on this secret sale site, and Liz will be able to access on an iPad and put the sale through that way, right into my website, or just use Square. And what's really great is if you can have a Liz at your party to help you take money, it's really a great idea, because then you can focus on selling your artwork and not missing a customer, and having a great time without worrying about that. Okay, so you're gonna have to name and price your work. So Zoe and I are sitting here and we're going through the lists of things, like the images and everything, and I realized that I need to make a file folder for all of the paintings that I'm going to have for sale as well, because I'm putting them on the pre-show email, and I have to have a complete list. This is the part that is the worst for an artist. So I don't want you to be disheartened, but it's the part that you have to do. It's the documenting, it's the getting it all together, it's the pricing and the tagging. But for this part of putting on a show, that's what you do, is you have to make sure everything is named, make sure everything is labeled, make sure you have all the sizes, and then you're gonna have to do the pricing. And we will get on to the next step soon. Okay, so I have all these set up. I've got them by my window, which is really nice light. It's not direct light, it's really nice light on the image. So Zoe, if you come around, and I've got it lined up in my camera. These aren't for documenting, these aren't for reproduction. So this is simply to get it on my website as a product, as an item. So I'm simply taking a photo, we're gonna crop it, name it, and then we're gonna photograph it in the frame. It's a lot of work, oh my goodness. So what Zoe and I are doing right now is getting each one photographed, and then we're going to name them all, and then we're going to get them all filed. I have almost everything photographed. I have a few more things that I need to do, but I have to finish. There's always odds and ends at the end of prepping for a show, but this is just one aspect. I will then, once I am done photographing all these, they're going to be in files on my Dropbox. Then I give them to my web guy, who's going to put them in Shopify, and he's going to make an album so that people can buy them online. If that's you, if you are your own web guy, that's what you do. You put them in an album and you make products for them on your site, whether you're using Shopify, Squarespace, whatever you use. You get them on there and make them available for people to buy. All right, Zoe, what should we name the moose?
We could give him some sort of like personality trait, like stern moose.
Stern moose? Does he look stern to you?
A little bit.
Stern. Or how about stoic?
Ooh, I like that.
All right, stoic. So this is the part I hate the most. Although sometimes I love it. But naming, it's so hard. It's so hard. So what I do is I name each piece and write on the back the name, the size, and I sign it. And so now Stoic Moose has been documented. Okay, so now we've got to go through all of them and name them all, because names are important. Things should have names. You don't just want to say moose number 1 or tree number 43. You want to give a name. You want to kind of give an inflection of what it feels like, because it might meet something in the buyer's eyes. It might touch their heart, the specific name. So I have to take my time, and sometimes I just stare at things for like 5 minutes. It takes way too long. Okay, Zoe, what about this one? What hits you? It's what hits you.
Well, I feel like there's like a sense of adventure in it, so I want to have a word like that.
Okay. How about sense of adventure?
That's true. That makes sense.
Makes sense. Here, I'll show you. So I put it all on the back. Sense of adventure, 12 by 12, and I've signed it. Okay? And then what about this one, Zoe?
Well, the word that I thought to describe the tree on it is grand.
Okay. Grand.
In my mind, I'm thinking like the grand, that kind of tree, but I don't know what kind of tree that is.
The grand entry? I mean, think of grand. It's the grand house, the grand entry, the grand ballroom.
The grand passage.
Oh, there you go. That was a good one. All right, we got to name all of them now. So, Zoe and I have successfully documented everything. All the photos are on my phone. Now we've got to get them into the files that they need to have and be named properly so that we know the sizes and we know how to put them up on the website. So I'm going to select all the photos and I'm going to airdrop them to Zoe's computer. She's going to edit them a little bit, like just brighten them up a little bit and put them in the right file so that we can do this. All of this documenting is really important, whether you're putting it as an online show or not, because you are going to use it for social media. You've got to put it on Instagram. You've got to do all that. So you've got to get great photos, crop them, and name them so that you know what they are and how to put them online. You need to make your work accessible and have the ability to buy. So I am making a library of sorts for Zoe, and she is editing and making them right so we can make them up. So I'm going to select all of my photos and I'm going to airdrop them to Zoe. Okay, so Zoe and I were pricing work in the studio and making sure it was documented. So that's the next thing. And I think I probably talked about it in that clip, but document your work. Now, I am not documenting my work for reproduction at this point because these paintings are too small for reproduction. The large paintings have been documented for reproduction. Also, if you don't document your work, that is another tip that I have for you. absolutely get your work documented, even if it's for your own legacy, even if it's for someday you're going to do a coffee table or the life of the artist, or especially if someday you might even consider doing prints. Having good documentation. So find a photographer that can do it. Add that to the price of the painting. You know, it's a large painting. You've spent $150 on the canvas. You spent $20 on paint. Think of the, you know, maybe $50 to $60 for a photograph. That's the cost of that painting, right? That's what you give your accountant as your write-off. Okay? Make sure it's the biggest thing. I'm so happy that I started. A little story here that's not about a show, but a little story here that I want to tell you is when I started documenting and I started using those documented photos on my Instagram, I found that I had a lot of galleries and designers write me and say, wow, I really like the new direction. And can we carry you? And that was awesome. And all I had to say was, actually, it's not a new direction. It's just a good photography. And nowadays, your phone will give you great photos. If you've got a modern phone, your phone will give you some great photos for your Instagram. Make sure that they're wonderful. Don't put up cloudy, blurry, dull photos. That's not good. Okay, the next is your display. How are you putting it up? In my studio, if you were doing a studio tour, obviously you would put your paintings up on your walls, up on your easels. I'm doing it out in my garden. So I actually have, from years ago when I used to do outdoor shows, I still have the grids. So I will put the grids up and I'll put paintings on grids around the garden. I will use the walls of my house. I have things that hang on the house, and we've put some permanent big screws into the house, knowing that I use the garden every year so that we hang things on it. I'll put decorative art on the house on other times of the year, so it doesn't just look like I have a big screw in the wall, but I use those places. So determine how you're going to display. I use grids. You might just use a whole bunch of easels. All right. If I'm looking down at my phone. So set up as much as you can beforehand. Set up and think about it. Think about your pricing and your labeling and your inventory. You may have to give yourself permission to stop creating a week or so before so that you can get all of the minutia done, so that you don't feel pressed, that you're still finishing and you're painting, and then you realize you haven't priced anything. You don't even know what you've got in your inventory. So give yourself a permission. I have to do that. And actually it's quite nice when I give myself permission to do that, because I actually then can enjoy grabbing a cup of coffee with a friend if I'm, have to go to Michael's, or going to Michael's with a friend, or just slowing down a little bit so that the energy of the show doesn't overwhelm me and I'm not exhausted even just before the show. Be consistent with your pricing. Your pricing should match your website, and it should match what your galleries sell. Again, I do not put my originals on sale. I have galleries that I work with, and it is not fair to them for me to have a sale on originals when they don't. So a person needs to be able to find me at my studio and pay, let's say, $1,000 for a painting, and be able to go to a gallery and pay $1,000 for the same painting. I know the gallery takes a commission. The bonus is that when I sell it at my studio, I get 100% of that. Do not undercut your galleries. That is not a good look, all right? And I understand if you're not in a gallery that does not apply to you, but it's true. You have to make it pretty. So you need some either pretty bags, you need some tissue to wrap it in, put your business card, put a gift if you want to give away greeting cards, put whatever you do in your package. Make it a really great experience that they walk away feeling like they've been taken care of, that the painting's wrapped. My husband at the event will wrap any of the large paintings, but Liz does all the packaging for me, and she's the one. She's going to make sure that I have everything I need for this. So I usually go to Staples, and that's where I buy. Often I buy tags or envelope tags for pricing. However, I don't want it to get too stuck to a painting, but generally they work well. So you have to do your research as how you're going to tag. My pillows and things like that, I use these pretty tags that I put a safety pin, a little gold safety pin on, and there's a nice tag. Tag nicely. Don't just scribble things on. Make sure that that's all part of the experience. If you can print your signs, print your signs. Unless you have glorious handwriting and you do it with a gold pen or something, go for it. Okay? And your follow-up information. So make sure that you are taking everybody who buys from you, their email, you ask them if you can put them on your newsletter list, you've got their email, their phone number, and what they bought. Because I've had that where I don't have a list of my collectors, and it's a problem actually, because people will come and say, I own something and I don't know, I haven't got a clue what they own. And so take it from me, that's a mistake that I've done, is that I have not taken the information from the collector well enough to know what they bought and how to add. Because sometimes you could do a follow-up and say, look, I know you have this piece, I just did another in that series. Would you enjoy taking a look at that? It's an opportunity to connect with your collectors. Okay, so there you have it. All the details I can think of to set up a show. And I'm going to take you a little walkabout now. I'm going to show you things that I'm thinking of, and I'll end this video with just where my studio tour is going to be. And I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that you do your own show. And if you do, I would really love to hear the results. I would really, really would. I'd love for you to DM me on Instagram with photos of your setup. All right, let me show you around. Here's my studio, and people will be coming into my studio, and I will have it beautifully set up. And right now, you're going to see the chaos. I'll just show you really briefly. But here's the chaos of the studio right now. With me making my plans, I've got to embellish, I'm pricing things, and yeah, it's a bit of a mess. But I'll use this French cleat wall to hang. I'll use any easels that I have in here, and I'll clean it, and it'll look great, and people will be able to come in. It's air conditioning, so if it's really hot, it'll be a nice place to go. And if it's cold, I'll turn the heat on. So here are the gardens that I'm going to be setting up. I'm going to have a guest set up here. It's Gilded Cage. She does vintage and sustainable fashion. It's wonderful. Within the gardens, I will be putting up display stands and putting art right in the garden. But here is where the main event will happen. So I have an outdoor space, and I will have my guests set up out here. So what I've started to do already, it's 2 weeks until my show. So I've been puttering along, and I also hurt my back, which is a problem because I haven't been able to do the gardening like I want, but it's getting better, and I hope to be able to fully engage. But I do have some friends coming to help me with the garden. So I have a woodworker, and he's coming, and he's going to be setting up here, and it's going to look great. We'll put an umbrella up for him so that he doesn't have to stand in the heat. Up here on this stage, I usually remove all of my furniture, and I'll have easels, and I'll do my prints up here. This is kind of the sale area. So people come up here and they can look through the prints and find something that they like. We've got a flair for chairs coming, and you've probably, if you go back, you're going to be able to see the collaboration that we're doing. So we're going to most likely remove the little table, the fireplace table, and the barbecue. I'm going to make the strong guys come and take away those things and probably clear off the carpet. And she's going to be setting up here. Now, if it rains, really rains, we will either cluster under here or move her inside and just open up the doors and have access inside. So I also sell pillows and notebooks. So I'll probably have the notebooks and books inside my studio so that they don't get any humidity or rain, but I will use this long couch to set up all my pillows, and Liz will use this as her station for making sales. This is where all the artisans and guests can come and sit, and we'll have coffee and people will be able to visit. It'll be great. I'll put away all the chairs and it'll be a wonderful area. This will probably go in the garage. You know, so I'm thinking about all those things so that when I get the help and we have a day where everybody's coming, I can immediately know what I want. So here's the middle of the secret garden, and you can see I've started the weeding when I can, and I've got things to do. I've got weeding to do. It's not going to be too bad. With the help of my friends, one day is going to get me on top of it. But I want to do some trimming up, like the echinacea here. I want to cut back a little bit and just tidy it up. I'm really hoping that the daisies are still in bloom in 2 weeks, but I'm not sure. But the garden is in fine form, and out here will be one of my guests, Soul Metal, and she does garden metal work, and this is kind of where she likes to be. She likes to set up her stuff out here and throughout the garden, and people come and they look. So she's going to be the first thing they see when they come in. But this, I don't add too much art back here besides Soul Metal, because the garden is what I want people to see. And doesn't it look beautiful? Isn't it it's coming along just gorgeous. And I can't wait. So here I'm backing up, which I shouldn't do because that's how I fell. But I'm going to bring you through as if you were coming to my garden party. And I'll walk you back to my studio and we'll end this video on how to set up a garden tour. So I'll have a gate here. We'll probably have some balloons so that people will know. And out in the driveway, we will not park. And I don't think people will park, but they'll have this to come up. I'll clean up everything. It's a big day of cleanup beforehand. But if you're coming to my garden party, you'll come in through the gate and experience the garden and see Soul Metal. I might put easels up here and there with some art here and there, but we'll see. Again, it all depends on the elements of the day, doesn't it? And people will walk back into the garden. This garden, I have a dream, just side note, that someday this Japanese grass will be full like that Japanese grass and overflow this whole thing. For now, I think this is going to be a great place for the metal lady to put her stuff in here. Otherwise, I thought, I have to fill this up. But no, having that artisan is going to be a great way to use this space for her for display. And then people will come. Usually I have art right here, and I use this table. And people will come back and find us back here. My husband has a huge magnetic that he puts there, and we hang art on my studio, so I don't need to ever drill into this wall. And the whole experience will be here. And see, we have a screw there. I take all this off and I put a painting here normally. And yeah, you get the idea. But we're going to do a whole video on prep for the news is coming to talk to us. So I'm going to do a video on that. And then we're going to do a whole video on the day. Zoe's going to come and she's going to fill the day. But I'll end the video here on the zinnias that are doing so beautifully for the party. And you know what? I pre-planned this. This was a spot. I said, in the fall, the zinnias do great. I got to put zinnias here and the salvia. So there you have it, my garden tour. So I hope you come. Here's my sign. I hope you come to the party. And if you don't come to the party, I hope you learn something about putting on your own party. Like and subscribe. Let me know if this video helped you at all, and we'll see you in the next one.